Колеги, ми продовжуємо робочий день. До слова запрошується.
So, the ATO issues the Speaker of the Presidential Administration, Colonel Motuzyanyk. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. The information on the events that took place in the ATO zone during the last 24 hours. The militants again were using heavy weaponry in Lugansk direction. This time they were using tanks. With weapons, they shelled at our positions more than 20 times. That happened near Bakhmutske highway, near Novotoshkivske village. In Donetsk direction, two hottest points are Zaitsev and Avdiivka. During 24 hours, there were 8 mortar shellings by enemy. Also, occupants are violating the ceasefire regime in other sections of the front in Lugansk, Mayorsk, and near Donetsk airport. During the last 24 hours, we registered 29 shellings in Donetsk directions. Also, the situation got worse in Mariupolski direction. The enemy was several times using the 82mm mortars and also tank. The shellings by enemy are registered along the whole front line from Krasnogorivka to Mariinka to Azov Sea. During 24 hours in Mariupolski direction, there were 12 enemy shellings. Also near the Kuchayevsk, about 100 Russian special servicemen arrived. They arrived at 4 Kamaz trucks and 2 Tiger armored personnel carriers. During the last 24 hours, not a single Ukrainian serviceman was killed or were wounded. The security service of Ukraine is successfully counteracting to militants in Verkhnye-Toretsky. The law enforcers, together with bodyguards, detained 2 militants with nicknames Chirik and President. The first one was the member of band Vostok, and the second one local citizen who joined the illegal armed groups in July 2014. Both criminals participated actively in the fighting against ATO forces, but because the leaders treated them cruelly, they were not paid the remuneration. Because of that, the militants left their allies and returned home, but they were hiding from law enforcement bodies. In Yasinovatsky district of Donetsk region, one more former militant was detected who from March to June last year was the member of the so-called LPR illegal armed group. He made a false passport and tried to go to Dnipropetrovsk, but he was detained. Also at the checkpoint Stanitsa Luganska, the bodyguards detained the citizen of Ukraine who was traveling from occupied territory. He had 400,000 Russian rubles. Now the investigation is going on. One more former militant used the program of the Security Service of Ukraine. You are waited at home. This person joined the band of LPR, where he was ensuring the protection of the location of bandits. The reason why he returned home was awful discipline. The militants are all the time drinking alcohol. Now you will see the video with the evidence of the former militant. I'm the citizen of Lugansk region. In 2015, I went to Russia. I believed into the idea of Russia, and I decided to join the illegal armed groups. I went to Stakhanov city. I was given a Kalashnikov machine gun. Then I joined the battalion. I was also guarding the parking place of military equipment. After 4 months, I realized that we are that they're lying to us. The relations were bad. They could beat you for anything. For example, if because of the health you cannot go on duty, getting disappointed, I decided to leave. I did not know how I heard about this program of the Security Service of Ukraine Come Back Home, and I decided to use it. But I was scared because in LPR they say that such people as myself, they put to prison and they shoot. But I decided, I took documents, went to Russia, then came back to Ukraine. Now I'm at home, no one's beating me, no one's torturing. When I was a militant, I heard that many Ukrainians want to come back home, but they are afraid. That is why I address all the militants. If you have no blood on your hands, use this program of the Security Service of Ukraine, come back to peaceful life. Ukrainian law enforcers continue to seize the weapons and ammunition in ATO zone. Yesterday, checkpoint Zaitseva, the policemen confiscated military uniform, about 5 kilograms of powder, several hundreds of cartridges and cold weapon from the citizen who was trying to enter the occupied territory. Now this person is detained. At the same time, the citizen from Dobropil of Donetsk region is has voluntarily given to the police department 280 cartridges of 545 millimeter caliber, and now he's set free. Ukrainian Marines are undergoing reinforced training. They, according to the legend, occupied the position at the coastline and created necessary conditions for paratroopers. In Kamenets-Podilsk, the 5th group of Ukrainian miners finished the course of training which was conducted according to NATO standards. We would like to remind you that during half a year, the servicemen of Armed Forces of Canada trained more than 70 Ukrainian miners. Any questions, any clarifications? Thank you, Colonel. The questions, please. Please introduce yourself.
Ksenia Dvornikova, some specifications where Ukrainian servicemen were wounded. Would you please specify? To our servicemen were wounded in general. Near Mayorske, one of our servicemen was wounded in result of a shelling, and near Berezove, one serviceman was wounded because of the blast of the baby trap. Whether the fire in response was opened, yes. In some cases, the fire was opened in response. In general, there were 42 cases when the ceasefire regime was violated by the enemies. Is it a more intensive situation than in the previous day? In different destinations during the contact line, the situation is either more quiet or more tense. And near Luhansk now there is intensification, slight intensification. The major intensification is near Donetsk. The Ukrainian reconnaissance says that the staff Russian